So, ma'am, you mentioned the court case that you had to file. So, can you tell our audience a little about that?
So when I first got into the civil services, I was selected for IRS, and I hadn't quit my job to get into the IRS.
Okay.
I wanted to work on field, on ground, on specific,
Right.
on social issues and on
On the
public
field,
issues, on public
right.
issues, right? So I thought that my rank isn't good enough, so I need to work again. And while I was preparing again, so when you give a civil services exam, there's basically two things that happen. One is the UPSC, the exam conducting body,
Right.
which gives you a rank. And then the Department of Personnel and Training, they give you a service based
Okay,
on your
according
rank.
to the rank.
Yes.
Right.
So my rank came with UPSC, and I knew it wasn't good enough to get into the IAS or IFS. Or so I thought, okay,
We'll give
I'll
it
give it
another
again.
shot. Right.
So while I was preparing for my second attempt, I started getting calls from a lot of other candidates who had appeared in that exam with me. And they
Okay.
said, do you know what happened? And I didn't know anything had happened. I didn't even know something happened. So I asked them, what do you mean? And they were like, oh, you don't know what happened to you. So then I started finding out what had happened to me.
Right.
So then I found out that I had been rejected basis my disability.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because my disability is being accepted by only one service across the country at that point, which was the IAS.
Okay.
And
okay.
IRS was not ready to accept a candidate with my disability, despite the fact that for almost all services across the board, I was eligible on the fact of as a candidate with disability. And when you get selected in UPSC as a candidate with disability, there are two things that you need to match. One is what is your disability, and the second is what is your abilities. So in my case, for the abilities list, I matched almost all the services.
Right.
So these are the abilities required to do the job. But for the disabilities, I did not match any service except for the IAS.
Okay.
And
okay.
that doesn't make sense. If I can
Right.
do the job, why should you not give it to me?
Exactly. And if
Right?
the abilities match, then the disability shouldn't matter.
Exactly,
Right.
but that was the case. So then all those people who had actually called me were facing similar issues.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
And that's how I decided to go to court, because I didn't really want to do it for myself, because I thought I'll give the exam again and try to improve my rank. But I realized that all of those candidates who were doing it were actually people with disabilities.
Right.
And you must realize that in India, disability is actually a factor of poverty in most
Okay.
cases.
Right.
Because
right.
how do people get disabled in India in majority? One is parents mother at during her pregnancy did not get the proper nutrition,
Right.
did not get proper medical care, she did not get proper treatment during delivery, and there are post-delivery complications,
Right,
and then
right.
children did not get proper care in the childhood. So a lot of disabilities would happen.
Stem from there,
Yes.
that issue.
Genetic disabilities is a rather smaller percentage.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, but most disabilities actually do spring out of poverty in some
and
way.
the lack of the ability to actually
Yes.
get medical
Yes.
help. Right.
And even if it isn't, majority of people in India are, at that point were poor.
Right.
Right?
Definitely.
I remember the data. It's almost 70% of people could be considered poor in India at that
Okay,
point.
wow.
So think about it. Most people, you're already poor. Disability brings in a lot many issues, a lot much.
Definitely.
Many treatments are required. You don't have access to accessible infrastructure, accessible schools. So for a child with disability to clear an exam like Civil Services Exam of India,
is in itself a huge
Herculean
thing.
task, right?
Right.
And to give you a perspective, Civil Services Exam of India is amongst the 2 toughest exams in the world.
Definitely.
So these are people who have cleared that exam,
and still
after
are being
them-
given another hurdle to cross
Yes.
without
Yes.
any
So
particular
all of the
fault
people
of
in
theirs.
the general, merit or in any other reserved category, they don't have to face this extra burden already, right?
Right.
So, and imagine if you're a child who's also from a reserved category in terms of caste, and you are also disabled.
Disabled, and you're facing the double
Yes,
whole pressure of the whole thing.
Yeah, so I thought that I came in here to make a difference. So maybe this is how I'm supposed to do that.
Right.
So I had earned well, and I come from a relatively well-off family at that point. So I thought this might
Why
be.
not?
Yeah. So maybe
it's all the more a reason
yes,
to go ahead with it.
Yes. So maybe I can change this thing for other people. it didn't really happen with the court case, but that set a precedent so other people could use that. And but the good thing that did come out was because all of this court case and everything got highlighted when I got into the IAS as rank 1, they actually sat and reworked this whole thing. So they opened up a lot many more posts for people with disability
so
across
great.
the country. Yes. So almost 3,000 new posts were identified, and this is new posts. So if it's like chemistry teacher, so that's a post. So 3,000 such posts. Chemistry teacher is a post in multiple colleges. So you multiply that.
Okay, so that's just 3,000 posts, but again, when you multiply the institutes, so that increases.
Yes, so it's like a chemistry teacher can be a person with these kind of disabilities.
Right.
But a chemistry teacher is not just one post across India, it's multiple posts.
Yes.
You know, so if you think about it like that, it opened up lakhs and lakhs of posts for people with disabilities.
That's amazing, and it's all because of your effort.